Hello and welcome to another episode from the Critics Collective. I'm Ron, and we are here talking about a movie that possibly is slipping under a lot of people's radars, especially at the holiday season. Now, for this movie that we're going to talk about, it came out in 2023. It's a rated R movie that goes a little bit over 2 hours. It is set in Christmas. It's the major setting and story for what is going to happen in this movie. And we're talking about the Hallovers. This movie, I think you can currently see it on Prime right now. It came out in theaters with a budget of $18 million. It finished off basically with $20 million in the US, which Lingo will say is not very successful. But I think Lingo will agree that that's successful in this movie because it wasn't one of those that was like plastered everywhere. I think it kind of went out for a little bit, and it was the create that Oscar award-winning buzz type of thing. Now, worldwide, this movie made almost $50 million, so that's a win right there in its own, especially with no special effects being used in this at all. So for this movie, I'm going to give you my highs and lows, and then I'm going to go ahead and rate it from a 0 to a 5. Now, during the holiday seasons, I've looked at movies that I grew up watching, movies I had to see differently versus when I was younger versus now, movies I've never watched or you guys told us or me to, hey, just check this out. And this was an experience. For sure. Now, I won't spoil anything, but the storyline for this is there is a teacher in a boarding room. It's an English or history teacher in a New England boarding school. And you have a student who, for a certain reason, isn't able to travel for the time of Christmas. So that student and the teacher need to stay on campus. You're watching this unsettling mingle of the relationship between the student and the teacher. I'm not saying Goodwill Hunting, but it's just an interesting emotional ride that you're getting. There's moments where there's like a pit in your stomach. There's this awkwardness. There's this secondhand embarrassment. There's moments where you're upset and you're angry and you're confused. And they do such a good job of taking you through these emotions through the 2 hour time period where you don't look at your watch. You don't think that it is a 2 hour time period. And another thing that they're able to do in this is they're able to take you someplace to the ending that makes you appreciate, for more people more than not, to appreciate where you're at in your life and where you're possibly going, if that makes sense. It makes you just kind of have an outward projection of where you're going to be at. Now, this movie, interesting enough, made me think things like Eyes Wide Shut. Not to say it's the same. Like I already said, Goodwill Hunting. It made me think of watching movies like maybe Primal Fear is a movie that people keep telling me to watch, and I just haven't watched it. And just to kind of get a sense of, it's cool to watch some stuff that's casual, right? But there's so many movies where it's just an art form that was put together, and to be able to experience that, especially for the first time. So if I might have lost you, like, hey, where's the lows? There's no lows. Everything I've been saying is the highs on it. I would say I enjoyed the way this was shot. I enjoyed the cast overall of everybody in the cast, which I thought did a phenomenal job. There was one that just every time I was captivated, every time I saw this person on the screen, I was mesmerized. It brought the scene up every time, and it was, if I'm saying her name correctly, Divine Joy Randolph against Paul and Dominique. The way that she just added something to it every time, just couldn't miss. And again, you're looking at a really good cast. Now, here we like to rate stuff from a 0 to a 5, with 5 being excellent, 0 being horrible. And we've gone through the holidays and we've picked some of our favorites, and we're continue to picking other things that might not be so well. So you can check some stuff that might have been a 3 or lower. But I have not been flexing my muscle on the higher ones when it came to the holidays, whether I'm being picky or being picky about what I'm doing. We're talking Hallovers 2023, rated R, running time about 2 hours, and it was successful in the awards and it was successful in the theaters. I'm going to rate this a 5. Even if this movie was a flop in theaters, even if it didn't hold any awards, I would say that this is a great movie. This is actually one of those movies that I think will get better with time, because I think you're going to have the conversation of some of the great movies that make you think of the holidays. And though this has a completely different approach than a lot of movies, I think it's going to be something that you have to at least experience once. Now, I'm, again, I'm saying it's a 5. You tell me in the comments what you think it's going to be. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. We'd love to have you be a part of our collective crew. Now, with that being said, I wonder what's the next one I'm going to watch. Maybe Primal Fear, not for the holidays. You know what I mean? But you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. And I greatly appreciate that. Until next time.